welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, Defense Headquarters concludes investigation into the bombing of an IDP camp in Ranbir, State. Says airstrike was a mistake. House of Representatives Committee vows to carry out thorough probe of 13 billion naira cash recovered from an apartment in Ikoyi, Lagos. Police promise adequate security as voters in Nigeria's commercial hub Lagos set to choose their local government chairman and councillors tomorrow. And White House spokesman Sean Spicer resigns as President Trump appoints replacement. On Business News tonight, Development Finance expert highlights infrastructural projects drive multi-billion-dollar investments for Nigeria.
And sports news, new dawn for Nigerian sports after the Minister of Youth and Sports, Solomon Dalon, inaugurates new elected boards of federations.
And from Abuja, a piece of good news as new set of journalists complete one-week training course in news gathering and production techniques at Channels Academy in Abuja.
We begin tonight with the outcome of the probe into the bombing of an internally displaced persons camp in Ranbir, State on January the 17th, 2017. And the Defense Headquarters says the airstrike was a mistake arising from inappropriate marking of the areas close to the location of the IDP camp. Briefing defense correspondents on the various investigations conducted into the incident, the Director, Defense Information, Major General John Nat'l, said measures would be taken to avoid a recurrence.
January 17, 2017, a fighter jet belonging to the Nigerian Air Force embarks on an operation in the northeast. Its mission to combat the Boko Haram sect. However, a tragic incident happens. The jet drops a bomb on one of the IDP camps in the region. In the interest of the security of the Northeast. 6 months after setting up several boards of inquiry to document what actually happened, the military comes out with a report.
The main reason that caused the unfortunate airstrike near the IDP camp at Ran was lack of appropriate marking of the area near the camp, where the IDPs were struck. Hitherto, people were not expected to amass at that location. Furthermore, the location was not reflected in the operational map as a humanitarian base. The normal pattern for Boko Haram terrorists to form up before attacking innocent civilians and troops is to amass. Hence, it appeared as a place that could be equally used for enemy activities as they attempted on the 10th of January, that same period. Thus, when mass movement was noticed through area satellite observation, it was taken for Boko Haram activities there, which needed to be neutralized with speed.
To ensure that there is no repeat of this error, the military is taking steps to forestall future occurrences.
All locations where humanitarian activities take place in the theater of operation in the Northeast should be marked appropriately for ground and area identification, in line with international best practices. There should be timely and mandatory exchange of information between all stakeholders for all activities in the theater of operation.
Several boards of inquiries were set up by a combination of the Defense Headquarters, the Air Force and the Nigerian Army to investigate the incident. The outcome will hopefully shed some light on the debate on what actually happened to the Ran IDP camp. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
There may have been silence for some time now over the huge cash haul uncovered in an Osborne Towers apartment in the Ikoyi area of Lagos, but the matter has not been forgotten. Now, that's according to the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence, which met with the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, on the issue. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Sani Jaji, told Channels Television that the meeting is part of the investigation into over $43 million recovered from the apartment.
Concerning the sensitivity nature of the investigation, that is even reason why we do not even allow the media people to be part of the meeting, so that at least the invited stakeholder will feel free to at least oblige the committee with all necessary information that we may require. And then we had at least enough from them, and they give us almost the details on how they carried out the operations, and then they even tell us some information before the operation and after the operation, and then what comes up after the operations. So I think we are heading somewhere, because we may likely invite the CBN governor maybe next week, even though we invited him before now, but due to some other reasons he may not able to attend or to honor the invitation. But now we are writing to him again so that we can take him next week. And then from there, the committee will decide when they will invite the suspended DG, because all this and that we are receiving information there and then. For us, if we invite the suspended DG, then we can have so many things to say, and then from there we can come up with a clear report.
To politics now, and for the first time in about 5 years, the people of Lagos State will have the opportunity to elect their leaders at the grassroots in an open election slated for Saturday, July the 22nd, that's tomorrow. The local government election is expected to usher in new chairmen and councillors in the 20 local government and 37 local council development areas across the state. The Lagos State Electoral Body has announced that voting will open at 8 a.m. as voters will be able to vote using the existing INEC register used in the national elections. The Lagos State government has announced that movement will be restricted for residents of the state between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. to allow for a smooth conduct of the exercise.
What we're recognizing is clear in that McAfee is now the national chairman of the PDP. Riverine areas, the supply of materials, sensitive and non-sensitive, we don't regard as a problem. Again, like I told the Commissioner of Police, whenever I see him beside me, I feel very safe. The riverine, the military police, or what they call the marine police, have been in touch with us through the Commissioner of Police directly, and we have made adequate arrangements with them. The boats have been deployed. The police, the marine police, and the Navy, they're supervising all this, ensuring that the boats are safe, that there are life jackets there, and of course they will have police personnel and Navy personnel to guide them through the riverine areas.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Police Command has warned politicians and electoral officials to shun violence or any criminal activity ahead of the elections. The Commissioner of Police, Fatai Owushini, says the security agencies are ready to ensure that people can vote without any fear or intimidation. He told officials of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission to resist any temptation from politicians that could mar the process.
Even if the political gladiators deliberately incite violence, there is no way that we will not say, it is the police though. That has been our home body. But SARS and MAS, we want to tell you that the Lagos State Police Command is ready. We have prepared adequately for this election to ensure that the election is hitch-free, to ensure that the Nigeria Police and sister security agencies give 100% support to the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission to have free, fair, and violence-free, as well as credible election.
Away from the local council polls in Lagos, federal lawmakers in the National Assembly are on a mission to consolidate on Nigeria's response to climate change. And what they're doing is to gauge public opinion on a bill seeking to provide a legal framework for climate change, and responses will then be taken into consideration for policy formulation. While majority of those present support the need for government to have a clear and united response to climate change, they were, however, divided on the need for a national council on climate change.
For some people, the recent devastation caused by flooding in different parts of the country is a clear manifestation of the effects of climate change. At this public hearing, lawmakers from both chambers of the National Assembly and representatives of federal agencies at this meeting are considering a bill to provide a legal framework for the mainstreaming of climate change responses and actions into government policy formulation, and also establish a National Council on Climate Change.
This bill is the product of a deliberate effort by the legislature to fill critical gaps in legislative mechanism and also reset our thoughts and actions to create the enabling environment for the public and the private sectors to collaborate.
The meeting is focusing on ways to mitigate the effects of climate change by considering Nigerians' response to the effects.
It behoves on us all to work assiduously and with maximum determination to make sure that this time around, in a change government, quote unquote, this bill succeeds.
Passage of this new bill will lead to the establishment of National Climate Change Agency, National Council on Climate Change, and Technical Advisory Committee.
Federal agencies also gave suggestions on what can be done to tackle climate change in the country.
This is exactly what we are doing in NAMED. So which means, technically speaking, by this it means you are either saying NAMED should go or NAMED should stop what it is doing. Which means, if that is the case, what needs to be done is that the act establishing the NAMED shall be repealed, or you shall modify the act so that take the responsibility from us, so that the responsibility will now go to the agency that is doing.
The committee is expected to consider the contributions made here and come up with a proposed legislation that will provide a cleaner and safer environment.
To health matters now, the management of the National Hospital is appealing to federal lawmakers to intervene and reduce liabilities affecting service delivery in the health institution. The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Dr. Jaf Momo, made the appeal in Abuja at a meeting with members of the House Committee on Health who were on an oversight visit to the facility. According to the hospital's management, the cost of energy and outsourced liabilities topped the list of challenges.
Members of the House of Representatives Committee on Health arrived in the National Hospital in Abuja for an oversight visit. They were immediately ushered into the hospital's boardroom by the Chief Medical Director, where he listed the challenges affecting the health facility.
The challenges that are facing the hospitals in Nigeria, and National Hospital is no exception. On our source, for instance, we have a liability of over 400 million outsourced services. When I took over 3 years ago, our monthly bill was 6 million. But it gradually went for energy from the central national grid. It went to 9 million, and now an average of 14 million a month. Energy bill is one major burden to all hospitals.
Next, the lawmakers took a tour of the hospital.
So they are too old. That's why we are bringing in a new one.
From the experience of visit to similar facilities, the committee observed that there is need to review some of the laws governing tertiary hospitals.
The number of patients they are handling in the National Hospital is so much because everybody comes here, and the funding, and of course majority of the people that come cannot even pay. So funding has become a major issue. So it appears we may have to look at our laws again and see where we can make new laws to regulate these issues.
However, the Chief Medical Director pleads with the lawmakers to intervene and reduce high cost of electricity bills, as it currently accounts for over 50% of their recurrent expenditure.
We will appreciate if the energy distribution companies will consider hospitals as some form of social service rather than commercial service, because we are classified.
The management of the hospital is hoping that this visit will address some of the challenges identified and ultimately improve healthcare delivery in the hospital.
In part 2, after the break, the police in Enugu State arrest 3 students for faking their own kidnap. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.